Okay, my name is Nic Rush, and I am a South African guitarist. I am a Yamaha, Marshall Amplification, Line 6, D'Addario, Planet Waves endorsee. I am very blessed, although I do work very hard. And today I want to talk to you about my rig. So everything begins with the Yamaha guitars. So this particular model is a Revstar. This is the RS620. So the RS620 model sits right in the middle of the Revstar range, price point wise. I think there's 2 models above it and there's 2 or 3 models underneath it. The models underneath it though are not necessarily cheaper models, there are variations. So the RS620 is normally a humbucker guitar, and the RS502s, which I've got 2 of, are P90 equipped with P90s. I fell in love with the P90 vibe so much that I actually took the humbuckers out of this one and put humbucker size P90s in. So these are replacement pickups. These are the bare knuckle supermassive 90s. I played this guitar stock as it was out of the box for about 3 years, and then I decided I want to, change things up and experiment a little. So this is kind of my Frankenstein that I experiment with. I've put a brass bridge on that my dear friends Grant Fisher and Greg Pentopoulos machined out of bell brass, and it makes a huge difference. Clarity-wise, sustain-wise, the tone is bigger acoustically. Yeah, what I love about P90s is the fact that it's a really fat sounding pickup, like a humbucker, but because it's a single coil pickup that is essentially overwound, it's got all of the snap and bite that you love from single coils with the girth of a humbucker, and it's the perfect rock and roll pickup for me. I end up spending most of my time, if the guitar sound is clean, on the 2 pickups together. That is pure clean channel on the Marshall JVM, no effects. So I'll put some chorus and tape delay to go with that. Neck pickup, great for bluesy vibes. Bridge pickup is nice and clucky. I don't use it a lot clean, so I'm not going to play anything. Cool. Strings are D'Addario NYXL 10 to 52s, tuned to standard tuning. I've been doing a lot of writing in C standard, so I've been using 12 to 56 for that. Also the NYXLs. The beauty of and the beautiful blessing of being an endorsee for D'Addario in South Africa is that I've had a chance to try all of the different ranges of strings. For me, NYXL is what does it. They last the longest, they stay brightest the longest. I'm not a massive fan of coated strings. I prefer the sound of uncoated strings and the feel of uncoated strings, and these last almost as long as coated strings do, but with the feel and the snap of an uncoated string. Cool, so from there we go into the Line 6 Helix. So the Helix is connected to the Marshall JVM. This is the 410HJS, so it's the Joe Satriani signature model of the JVM. So guitar into Helix. The Helix is sending into the input of the amp back into the Helix back out to the amp. That is 4-cable method. So essentially what it allows me to do is have anything that I want in front of the amp, so to speak, to be in front of the effects loop block on the Helix, and then anything else like EQ, delay, reverb, any of that stuff, that will come out of the effects loop. And all the drive is Marshall. So we've got the normal old clean sound, slightly more broken up on the second channel. So another thing that's worth noting is the Helix via MIDI is switching channels on the amp for me. So I kind of stick with 4 main sounds that I make use of. So there's the clean sound, not so clean sound, getting to really rock and roll sound, and then That's the full face melt sound. And then what I do on the Helix is, as a lead bump, I've got a parametric EQ setup, so I can apply that to any of the channels. So just plain old clean. Can be applied to any of the channels. So if I'm on the rock and roll channel, lead vibes with EQ and delay. Makes me happy. What I love about the Helix is the fact that it integrates seamlessly with the amp. So each and every one of the inputs and outputs is configurable between instrument level or line level. That's on the inputs and the outputs. So on the send and returns, I've got them configured to instrument. Okay, so I've got obviously the guitar in is configured to instrument level, and then the effects send and returns are all configured to instrument level as well. So that means the amp is seeing the right signal. I'm not sending line level back into an amplifier on any of the inputs or outputs. It makes all the difference in the world for your guitar tone, because that's what the amp wants to see. Cleans up very well. That's what I love about the Helix. The cool thing is that I can also send MIDI changes from whatever digital audio workstation I'm running, which is Logic. I can set up a show and it can change patches for me. And it's just a genius piece of gear. It's my InEar monitor system as well, because there's so many, there's so many various configurations of how you want to run things. It's got a mic input. So generally what I do is I take the monitor send into the mic input and have the mic, have that path's output sent to something that isn't sending anywhere, and that's my InEar mix. It's also worth noting that everything that you're hearing right now is a combination of the mic on the cab, as well as a split path where the amp's preamp sound is split out to one of the XLR outputs running through an impulse response of a vintage 30 speaker, which is the speaker that's in the cab. So I like vintage 30s. I try to stick with that with regards to any DI type of sounds that I'm using. I've gone through a couple of different brands with the impulse responses, but if you want a Celestion vintage 30 impulse response, use a Celestion impulse response from the Celestion website. So that's what I use. I bought the impulse responses off of the Celestion website, and that's it. Vintage 30 4x12. I use a 2x12 live, but I use the vintage 30 4x12 impulse response. Also, little cool things that you can do is set switches to momentary. So if I feel like I want to cheat and hit a harmonic that I'm not really hitting, whammy on momentary, Bob's your uncle. And it's pretty convincing. The trick is to put a high cut in front of the whammy on momentary as well, because those high frequencies are the ones that make it sound chipmunky. So you'll notice this sounds like a pinch harmonic, because I'm cutting everything at like 3K. Nothing above 3K is hitting that whammy pedal, because it's switching on at the same time as the whammy. Cool guys, so I'm Nic Rush. That is my rig. Please go check out Yamaha Guitars online, Line 6, Marshall Amplification, D'Addario strings, Planet Waves cables, and straps. Planet Waves make straps with skulls on, and that's why I like them. And yeah, man, that's it.